the next 100 years in a world where AI can beat you in your own game of prepared speeches. Conversational Toastmasters delivers a casual, conversational, and fun learning experience. Fresh, trailblazing, and unconventional. Conversational Toastmasters, your club of choice.
Ja, hallo zusammen, guten Abend. Ich heiße Daniel, ich komme aus China und ich freue mich sehr, hier zu sein. Ja, danke.
I love it when Daniel speaks German fluently in social style and corporate style and technical style. Like you see him, you're thinking China, and he's in America. He speaks in fluent German.
I used to live in the Philippines, and that is my connection to Vivien. We both went to the same school in Manila.
I'm here because Vivien wanted to start a club talking about conversational Toastmasters, conversation speaking, because we didn't want to have speeches all the time. Because as Vivien always says, life is not a prepared speech. And so, in my view, I have agreed with Vivien. In my view, Toastmasters is supposed to teach you public speaking. And people have the wrong view of public speaking. They think you get up on the stage and you talk. But public speaking is when you walk out of your house and you talk. You talk to your neighbor. You talk to the postman. You talk to the people at the cash register. So this is conversational speaking. You can't have relationships without conversation. And Toastmaster was built to build relationships between people. That's the whole purpose of Toastmasters. And so conversation and relationships go hand in hand. And I am here to help Vivien get that across.
How do you react to the word conversational Toastmasters into maximum 3 sentences? Bob.
It lines up with Ralph Smedley's original philosophy for Toastmasters is interpersonal relationships. It's not about speaking from a podium, it's relating with people. This is the 100th year anniversary of Smedley. It'd be a great opportunity to revive his legacy.
Thank you. 100 years. We're entering the next 100 years. Why is it so difficult to have conversations with people who have been in these organizations for years, decades? Why? Obviously, conversation is what I love doing. I am a live talk show host, and the last thing you want to hear people in a live talk show every week with every guest and with every question and answer that says, let me tell you 3 things. I don't think we're going to have any talk shows at all.
Well, I'm trained as a coach that life is a conversation. Conversation, much like Bob says, creates relationships. For me, I don't want the constraint of having to have my conversation goes a certain way. I want to be funny when I want to be funny. I want to be outrageous when I want to be outrageous. I want to be quiet. And part of conversation is listening. So I'll be listening and I'll be speaking. That's why it's attractive to me.
I really enjoy the concept to be able to be flexible, like to be spontaneous, talking to people.
Took a little walk last year, started in Mexico, ended up on the border of Oregon and Washington, walked about 1,500 miles by the time I was done. I got interviewed by KGW. If anybody tells you that you're too young or you're too old, you're the wrong gender or ethnicity, tell them to take a hike.
So that is the brand of Bob Hall. From now on, you're going to be Bob, take a hike, Hall.
Take a hike. That's right.
Sounds good. And
Yes. Well, one very unique thing about my school and Vivien's school as well is it is a giant meeting place, not just meeting each other in the cafeteria or in the hallways or in class, but we're meeting each other virtually. And it's actually just a wonderful, safe space where everybody's very welcoming. And we do have conversations. And that is actually what I like about the concept of conversational Toastmasters, because I still consider myself new to Toastmasters. And what intimidates me about Toastmasters is it's so structured. I struggle with trying to understand how to progress in the structure and how it applies to me. That's why conversational is very appealing, because it can apply to everybody.
Sharpens your communication skills, really. It's just a fabulous experience.
That's what I do. I'm a live talk show host, and I keep telling people a live talk show host is not the star of the show. A live talk show host is someone who has a conversation with the rest of the world and brings a guest to the party. And that's my dream.
Yes. Again, going back to that school, it was a microcosm of what the world is today. Our borders are becoming more permeable. We share different foods and languages and music. Something funny that happened while I was there was I was at a classmate's sister's engagement party. She was from Pakistan. And one of our good friends, again from the same school, was from Brooklyn, New York. And these two cultures and languages and jokes and everything, they're just so different. And my friend from Brooklyn saw something on the table and said to herself, "Oh my gosh, chocolate. I love chocolate." And she picked up a piece and put it in her mouth. It was henna. Part of the Pakistan engagement ceremony is to put henna on your hands, and it was ground up henna.
Oh my.
But that was, again, just very funny and a way to learn about other cultures and other people and how we're all open. There's just no judgment. It's an interest, and it's a true interest. And that's, again, what a conversation does. It's interpersonal, and it makes you open to each other, which we need.
I love what you said, Renu.
Quick story.
Yeah.
I tried kimchi for the first time.
Oh, I love kimchi.
About a week ago. The only thing I knew about kimchi was from MASH. And there was a story they buried this cabbage in a dung heap and fermented it. And I thought that's how you made kimchi. I said, I'm not touching that stuff with a 10-foot pole. Apparently that's not the way the restaurants do it.
Oh, of course not.
I was enlightened that no, it didn't come out of a dung heap. So I tried it. It was actually delicious. I enjoyed it.
A lot of people are blessed with being able to play music by ear.
Yes.
I am blessed to be able to cook by taste.
Fantastic. I think differences need to be celebrated. I love the fact that I'm looking at the screen here, hearing where everybody's from, the different cultures that we have. And the fact, like Jim, you could just cook anything, doesn't matter, right?
I am what you would call a connoisseur, okay? I'm not a connoisseur, I'm a connoisseur. So, but I know what tastes good. You know, I've partaken of some delicacies around the world. I was in Singapore for about a week around Christmas time in about 2000, around the year 2000, 2002, something like that. And I remember the first time I got there, I walked around the markets looking at the big bulging eyes on these fish staring out at you. And these, you know, and there were unpronounceable names of the dishes. And I said, wait, where's the McDonald's? You know, I was hungry after about 2 days. And I finally said, what the hell? I mean, these other people are reading this stuff. It's not going to kill me, I don't think. So I tried it, and it was actually quite delicious. I had no idea what I was eating.
And I lived on an extinct volcano. It still has hot springs, sulfur springs. And we were by a lake. If anybody's ever studied World War II history, it's just very fascinating. We were by a lake that had, we're talking about shrimp. The shrimp in the lake were 10 inches long. They were jumbo shrimp, and they were very tasty. So if I were to come to Jim's, I would also ask him to make shrimp for me.
You learn so much by having conversations with people who are extremely different. So let me now ask you, Daniel, what was your first reaction coming from China, missing the food, going to Germany, like, there's nothing here for me, only to find out that you love their mashed potato and the person you're going to miss most was the woman in the canteen. And then you're in America. What was the thing you were missing most? Was it Chinese, German, or you decided, hey, I like American food after all?
Mashed
So what
potato.
do you eat nowadays?
That would be the food. The German version Chinese food would be like the thing I miss quite a lot.
Mit
That is
extra
interesting.
Käse.
Käse, yeah,
Sorry, Bob?
exactly. With
What?
Käse, yeah,
Mit extra Käse.
extra
Ah,
Käse.
I lived in Germany for 5 years with the Air Force. And
Oh, yeah.
there
I
you go.
mean,
Maybe Reno's more Pinoy than me.
Fusion. He calls mine confusion. So cheese on
one.
Chinese food. No way. By the way, Vivien knows this. My husband used to be a stand-up comic. So any opportunity, and a sarcastic one. So any opportunity to pull a joke, be sarcastic, you got to be prepared for that.
What did you pick up of value today that makes our pilot episode of Conversational Toastmasters meaningful and hopefully memorable for you? So for the first person who was in the room, Bob, just a one sentence
don't be
for you.
afraid to try something different.
All right. And the next person in the room was Martha.
Love it. Didn't know what to expect, except I knew it would be conversational and it could have room for anything. And
There you go.
anything and everything has shown up.
There you go. Daniel, what one thing did you pick up of value today?
I think the sentence I want to say is stolen by Bob, but I would say just be curious about people and about the conversation about the stuff.
Very good. Renu.
I was struck by the commonality. If we're continuing the theme of playing on words instead of conversational, it's commonsational. There's so much, even though we're different, that we still have a lot that's common.
Sensational. That's sensational. Sensational
Renu.
description. Conversation.
Renu. Bob loves making up words. You know that, Bob, right? You're
Yeah.
making up words. And before Jim, you and I are going to share because I got so much of value. And this is his message from the hospital. Hi, fellow Toastmasters. I wish I was here in Zoom with you today. Greetings from Santa Clarita, California. Wishing you a toast to remember. Robert Formansky, who will be with us in our next meetings. Jim, what did you pick up of value in today's episode of Conversational Toastmasters?
Well, let me tell you three things.
Vivien's going to turn your mic off in any second now.
The one thing I found most interesting was that conversation and food are a very good mixture. But everything that we talk about ends up somehow or another with some kind of food reference, including the starting of this club. And so for
That was a
me,
big conversation, a big topic of conversation on my through hike too. What are you eating tonight? Oh, you got us a Snickers bar. Can I trade a Snickers bar for this
For
dry
Milky Way.
powdery stuff? Yeah.
Oh, this club, Vivian and I were talking about starting this club. And she already told you that, oh, Jim's the expert, this, that, the other thing, right? And she always tells me that every time I'm doing something, I talk as if I'm a teacher. So I am the ingredients man. I put the ingredients and the structure to the cake. And then Vivian is the icing person. So she puts all the finesse because the cake is meaningless without the icing, without the design. It's just a bland piece of bread. So Vivian puts the icing on top of it. And so the food reference even began before this club started because it was all about getting this club going.
Can you make us smell a vision next time?
Nice one. Nice one. Yeah, that's a good one, right? That's interesting. I like your idea, Martha, and I'm sure everybody else likes that. And Renu's like, yeah, I wonder what Jim's cooking now. Sniff, right? But let me
By the way,
add,
UPS deliver frozen food to Toronto. Just so you know.
ah, that's a thought. You never know what could come out of this. Martha, if you can find a box big enough, Bob, Daniel, and Reno, what do you think? We get a box big enough. Martha orders the food. This huge box comes in. She's like, what is it? She opens it, and Jim Kearney goes, ha, I'm
Voila.
here. C'est moi, voila. I'm always talking about, Martha and I agree, manners and etiquette. And Jim says, oh yeah, you are Miss Finesse. And that's the backstory of the cake and the icing. Because no matter how bright you are, no matter how you prepare your wonderful prepared speeches, and all of us know this, we have had made wonderful, excellent, dynamic prepared speeches, but many people die in the social scene, pre-pandemic or even in Zoom, because they cannot carry a conversation while dining, having lunch, or sharing breakfast. That's 5 to 7 minutes of your life, 20 to 40 minutes of keynote. But are you credible when you come down from stage and you cannot carry a simple conversation? I know what that is like because I give talks around the world. I'm not talking about Zoom. I'm like since 2001, 12 countries around the world. People consider you more credible if you can casually have candid conversations when they ask you more about your life and the topic that you gave. Just look today. We didn't have to go out of the way to say, let me tell you 3 things and in summary, right? But we did share 3 things at one point in time. And we did summarize our sentiments straight from the heart. And that is the whole core of conversational Toastmasters. We will always deliver 3 things. We will always have a summary. But as Jim said very well, come to conversational Toastmasters, you will be able to do that with finesse. What do you think? Give me your insights. One sentence from each of you. Go. Daniel. Jim, yes.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. Who's got something to say, Bob?
Interesting concept.
Mm-hmm. Redo. Microphone?
It's more organic.
Daniel, one sentence.
With cheese.
Good cheese on top.
Cheese on top.
Cheese.
Martha.
With this cheese.
Martha. Martha.
More colorful.
There you go. And I hope that we were able to serve you well. And may I help remind you, spread the word, bring friends when you come. Let's just have a party here. What's our message from Conversational Toastmasters? Let this sink in. The next 100 years, in a world where AI can beat you in your own game of prepared speeches, Conversational Toastmasters delivers a casual, conversational, and fun learning experience. Fresh, trailblazing, unconventional. Conversational Toastmasters, your club of choice. Group hug, and let's have a group photo. Best angle, best smile. Okay, let's get ready.
Everybody say cheese.
Peace.
Cheese.
Allow me, on behalf of Jim and the two other fellows who will be joining us, for making our pilot episode, session 1, so much fun for us. I hope it was fun for you too. Was it? Okay, goodbye for now. Sending you much love from Manila. Wah, wah, wah.